KU fans, welcome back to another episode of KU Sports Extra with Tom Keegan. I'm here at CenturyLink Center in Omaha, and it's getting closer now. Yesterday or this morning or last night, I don't really remember when it was, but sometime before now, we gave you our first glance at KU Duke, just initial thoughts on the matchup, and after spending an entire day with both teams, writing more, learning more, asking more questions, we're here to kind of see if that changed at all. Did it change for you? Do you have a better feel for how this one's going to go, or are you going to just hold your ground and stick to what we talked about?
You know, I watched I was writing, so I wasn't watching real closely. And, you know, obviously Duke's size is so impressive, and they have the NBA prospects and all that, but do they have the same college spirit that Kansas has? Because Kansas has players been here so long, invested so much.
Right.
Devontae Graham, Svi Mikhailov, and they just seem like they have a little bit more of that college spirit, so maybe that can close the gap there on the tangible advantages that Duke has.
Yeah. I think I speak for both of us. Last night when we did our video first glance, we were both leaning Duke.
No, I don't think I was.
You weren't?
No, I think I said
I don't speak for both
yes,
of us.
I think I said that Kansas can play with this team.
Yeah, you did say that. You did say that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I won't make you pick, but I do think, and we talked about this while we were writing in there, I do think while most of me still thinks Duke and still leans that way, I'm not to the point where I'm counting Kansas out by any means, and that tells me something. I don't know if it's real scientific, but it tells me something that as much as I picked them in my bracket, and I think looking with the eye test and all that stuff, you find yourself thinking, dude, I just keep coming up with ways, well, Kansas could win if this happens, and if this happens.
Yeah.
And
I think the fact that Duke's favored by 3 points puts Kansas in the exact frame of mind
Right.
they've been in all year when they were at their best, when people, including myself, were rightly saying, this is the year the streak ends.
Sure.
At the time, it seemed right. Obviously, it was dead wrong, so
Yeah.
it wasn't right. But they have responded all year long, and I think that they are, despite Udoka's injury, because he's playing terrific, they are playing, I think, for a while now, have been playing their best basketball. They just haven't put their best game together.
That's right.
And that's a good thing.
That's right, yeah. You wrote that in your column from Friday. And I think it's more consistent basketball. It's still, like
Yeah.
you said, not their best, but they're giving things that they were not giving earlier consistently. Effort, energy, intensity, things like
and
that.
I think Udoka looks like a smarter basketball player.
No doubt.
He's more decisive. He's a good passer. We didn't see that early
Right.
in the year, but when he has the ball and he doesn't have a scoring opportunity, Vic flashes the hoop and he hits him with a pass. Or if he doesn't have a scoring opportunity, he sees Newman in the corner and gets him the ball.
Right.
He's really playing with a lot of, Krzyzewski even mentioned it, a lot of
Energy and power.
yeah, energy and power. So that was
Two
he
great
was,
words.
yeah, he was very interesting today listening to Krzyzewski. He clearly has a lot of respect for Devontae Graham and,
Sure.
and for Kansas and for Self in general.
Sure.
And it's beautiful.
Let's talk about basketball real quick. If there's a way that Kansas wins this game, and there certainly is a way, what do you think is the biggest key basketball-wise for them to, hey, they have to do this, or they're maybe in trouble?
I think if they beat them down the floor and get enough open threes in transition,
Yeah.
I think that's a real good thing. And if they could force some turnovers,
Sure.
which is hard to do against Duke, I think that helps you in transition. I just think when you're quote big men, so Svi would be one of those. If they can beat Duke's big men down the floor
Right,
and you have a
right.
numbers advantage, Duke has to protect the goal before they protect the three-point line, and that could be the way that Kansas could maybe start piling up points on.
Coach K talked about the transition threes today. He said that's a big key for their defense. And Bill Self talked about Svi and said, don't you know how big this guy is?
Yeah.
You know, joking, of course, because that was the question. How do you...
He had 0 rebounds
Yeah.
against Clemson,
Yes.
so Svi probably Self will make him feel like he owes him 2 games worth of
Yeah,
rebounds.
36 is what he's going to have to get for
Yeah.
Self to be happy. But I agree. You think back to that Texas A&M game, and Texas A&M's nowhere near as talented as Duke. But that was the rallying cry: speed beats size. Speed
Yeah.
beats size. If KU can take advantage of their slight speed edge, maybe it's enough. I think they have to catch a couple of breaks still too. I think maybe a foul trouble issue with one of Duke's players. If it's Bagley, great. That would be the ideal guy. If
well, that's the thing. Every time you think, well, Kansas could win it, they have better spirit, they can get some transition threes. The one that you keep coming back to that's a tough question is, how do they stop Bagley from taking the game over? Because Udoka can't cover both those guys.
Right. Yeah. Good point. And he's so talented that even if you take him out here or there, he's talented enough and gifted enough to figure out something. And maybe this stage, I think that's one of the things too. The experience is big. I mean, they start 4 freshmen that have never been here. They're talented, so that doesn't matter as much. But it might. You're right. I mean, that vested interest. You said that. I think that's very important. Self's talked about that in the past when you have veterans and guys who have paid the price and lost in these moments. Sometimes they get more out of this, and they give more in these moments too. So for me, basketball-wise, I think it's just taking care of the defensive glass. You have to rebound. Duke can
Kansas
kill
is
you.
not particularly good at that, and Duke is great at it.
Right, and Duke could absolutely kill this team on the offensive boards if they're not disciplined and they don't take care of it. 2 reasons. 1, they would get second chance points. You figure some if they do. And 2, if you can't rebound, then you can't get out in transition.
Right.
And that would really hurt KU there too. So I think that's got to be all 5 going hard as possible to the defensive glass. And if they do that and they get out to a decent start, there's no reason to count them out. There's no reason to say that Devontae Graham can't have his best game of the year and lead this team to something
Grayson
special.
Allen can shoot them out.
Sure.
Because I've seen him do that before.
Well, and that's it, right? Duke was 5 of 26 against that Syracuse zone. If they shoot 5 of 26 against Kansas, you got to get 21 rebounds.
Right.
You can't give up 10 of those and negate what that advantage is. It's going to be a really interesting matchup. There's chess elements to this, X's and O's all over the place. Subs in, subs out.
I hope the refs let them play. They've been calling too many fouls in this
That
tournament.
I agree with, too.
Just let them play. Let's see some rhythm. There's some great athletes on the floor tomorrow. Can we please watch them and not watch the refs blowing the whistles and stopping the action?
I'm good with that. We'll leave you with that right there. For Tom Keegan and Matt Tate here at CenturyLink Center in Omaha, we're ready. Elite 8, Kansas and Duke coming up 4:05 on CBS Sunday afternoon. We'll see you guys throughout the game and, of course, afterwards as well. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra.